Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Lily of Lily's Book Vlogs, and it's that time of month to go over my books that I read in September. We're first going to go over my TBR because I want to show you the TBR I set up, how many of that I got through, and then we'll go through the books I actually read and got through. So, first we're going to start. These two were part of my TBR. The God of the Woods and Immortal Consequences. And these are the only two I did not get to in the month of September. But I'll show you why in a minute. So, these two didn't get to. I think this one I'm going to keep and try to read for October because I still really like this one and think that it will be interesting. This one, I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. But I think this one for sure I will. Bop. Now, to move on to these two. This one I was really excited about because it looked interesting. It sounded cool. I DNF'd it. I got roughly about halfway and I DNF'd it. It was just too confusing, too hard to understand. And when I talked about the main character, Perry, saving Nola and all that, I didn't know Perry was going to be a 5th grader with his little sister, saving Nola, which is supposed to be like New Orleans, but then somehow there is a character named Casey who is in New Orleans and they're connected. Like I said, I just didn't get this one. So this got DNF'd, which was sad because I wasted a lot of time in my mind. So, that one. Wayward, I finished, but I finished it today, which is October 1st. So, I don't know about including it. I think I'm going to have to save it for next month's because, again, I like to keep it where whenever I finish it, it goes in that month's thing. I'm not one where it's like, if it's close, I'm going to keep it. No. So this one, I did finish, but I finished it on the 1st of this new month. So it's going to go in the new month's little category. So you won't get to see that one until next month. Next, we got Billy Summers, Stephen King. This was on my TBR as well. If you see, I had a lot of books, and they were some thick books. So, this one I did finish, but I have a whole video that's going out about this book. And I don't know if it's going to be before I post this one, because this one might be quicker to post. Or if I'll post this one, but I gotta do some editing still for it. So you'll have to wait and see the video on my page. But you can see it if you make sure you subscribe and like. And then you'll get notified of when this pops up if it comes after this video. If it comes before, well, you can still like this video. And go check out that one and like that one too. So just letting you know. Just letting you know. And then this one was on my TBR. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Again, I've heard a lot of good things about her books and some not horrible, but some where it's like a little iffy. I know she's wrote 7 Year Slip, which a lot of people love that one. And then the novel Love Story, I've heard some people didn't really like that one as much. So this one though, I really liked the concept of where there's a songwriter, what was her name? Joni. She is a songwriter. She lives in LA, but she's going back to her small hometown to help with spend one more summer with her mom, who is currently battling, I think it's either Alzheimer's or dementia. And stuff, and she's having trouble. She hasn't wrote a really great hit song in a long time, or even any song for a while. She goes to a concert where one of the singers is singing a song of hers that became a big old hit, and she runs into an old member of this big like pop band, I think it was. What was his name again? I don't remember his name, and they don't say it in this one, but let's just call him Sasha, because that's what she calls him. She calls him Sasha. But he's part of an old band. They talk before she goes off on this summer vacation, and then when she goes off, she has all these regrets that she keeps talking about, and all this fear from not being able to write songs. And then all of a sudden, she's hearing voices in her head, but not voices, but a voice. And then later on, they're like working on this tune or melody together. And they think that the way to get rid of the voices, if they finish this song, they'll get rid of the voices in their head. And so she's dealing with a lot in that. But it was pretty good. I will have to post the star ratings because I don't memorize it now. But this one I think was pretty good. I think it was like a 3.75 or a 4. But you'll know for sure when I post it. So, there is that. Or flipping some piles around. In the beginning of the month, like I said, I tend to be one where I don't finish a book, then it goes into the next month. And this is one where I didn't finish it last month, so it's went in this month because I finished it in the beginning of this month, which is Crown of Midnight, the second Throne of Glass book, which I have been putting off for a really long time. Really long time. I think I read Throne of Glass a year and a half ago and stuff. But reading this, I jumped right back into the world, which was crazy. I remember Selena Kale is how you pronounce his name, which I don't like. Dorian, all that. And you get to jump right back into the world, learn some crazy things, deal with some crazy stuff. And it's like, it just dragged me back in. I did get the third book, but then now I'm like, should I read Assassin's Blade? Because the reading of Assassin's Blade, a lot of people say you read it either first before all of them, which I didn't have at that time, or you read it third or fourth. So, I don't know. You let me know. It might be up before, this video might be up before I read it, because like I said, I have some other books I'm reading right now. But it was pretty good. I think this one was a 4-star. Like I said, ratings I'll put up. But this one was really good, interesting. It does make me curious how this is going to continue to go. And it kind of gives you an idea for this one of how it expands through the rest of the series of the books and what is probably going to kind of happen in those ones in regards. So I did like that. So that one was also on my TBR. So I read 5 of my 8 books. So that's pretty good. And I will show the 5th one. The 5th one, though, is a doozy. So that's why I'm a little bit like, hold on, okay? Because the 5th one was one that I personally picked for myself. Because I had kept... hold on, things are falling. I picked this one personally because I had seen it. I heard a lot about it, but didn't even remember what it was about. And that is this one, Truly Devious, by Maureen Johnson. This one is about a girl named Stevie Bell. She goes to this like high school that's for gifted kids who have like a bunch of really advanced skills and stuff. And Stevie, she likes crime. And there was a crime that happened on this college campus, this Ellingham, I think it was, right? Yes, Ellingham Academy. It's famous because there's an Ellingham kidnap/murder. So Stevie, she's obsessed with that crime and that case and all that. And so she applies and she gets in, and in a way she's like, ooh, this is a hoax, this is fake, this isn't real. So she's dealing with that. Some crazy stuff happens where a student dies. And then Stevie, that the student is part of her, I guess you would say her house. There's like 6 kids who live in a house with an advisor or someone who watches over them. And the person who dies is someone in her house. And they think it's an accident because the guy was trying to film like a reenactment of the Truly Devious crime. And it's called Truly Devious because there's like a little like poem and stuff, and it's signed Truly Devious, so that's why it's called that. But they think that he died from an accident, but Stevie doesn't believe it, and she's finding out some stuff, and then yeah, it got crazy. And then that was part of that. And then I got the second one, The Vanishing Stairs, and it continues from this, but she accused someone in this book and they disappeared, and then she finds out that there was a hidden stair passage and stuff, and there's another dead body, and she keeps finding it, and stuff keeps happening. And then she's a part of, was it this one? Yes. She's a part of a project with an author who wrote about the Truly Devious crimes, and she's like mentoring under her because her parents took her out when they found out about this one, and then she got to go back and stuff. And so she gets a mentorship that's supposed to help her get her credits back that she missed about the crime still. And then at the end, there's some crazy stuff going on that she still has to deal with. And then that is where book 3 comes in, The Hand on the Wall. This one, she's still trying to solve the 2 dead bodies here. Because even though this one she kind of solved and thought it was related to the person who died in this one, she finds out that, oh, there's actually 2 deaths in this one, but only 1 for sure until you get to this one, and then you find out for sure about the 3rd death. So she doesn't believe that those were all accidents. And then she finds out, she solves too, in this one, the whole Truly Devious case, which is her whole thing. And it's crazy because it also has like past stories and stuff. So like the first one's talking a lot about what happened the night that the Ellingham kidnaps and stuff were going on and what happened in that one. The Vanishing Stairs is about 2 students who were kind of dressing up and pretending to be Bonnie and Clyde and stuff, and their kind of connection to what was going on. And then this one kind of continues on with the end of the Truly Devious like crime story, where there's a FBI agent, I think, and he's finding out what happened and stuff. And so there's that. And then Stevie, like I said, she solves the case, everything. She solves not only the Ellingham Truly Devious, but the murders in the first 2 books and stuff. And so it ends like that. And so I read a whole series. But there is also 2 extra books, but this one is all about the Truly Devious. The other 2 books are about the characters from Truly Devious, so it still follows Stevie solving crimes and her friends and stuff, but it's not all nicely neat in this. So I don't know if I will read the next 2. I know this one devoured real quick, and then this one I was kind of like falling off. This one was probably my best book of the month. This one was a 4.5, this one was a 4, and then this one was a 3.5 because it started to get a little stale with some stuff. So I read all of those, and like I said, I loved it. It was great. Loved the riddle. Loved the aspects of figuring things out. That was great. And then the last book that I read this month, and I'm going to butcher the name. It's the Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. This one I had seen Faith's read, and I think Ashlyn also did read on YouTube. So I did get this. And this one was very interesting and stuff. And for Faith, I know she loves like the Emily Wilde and stuff. And I read Emily Wilde because Faith read it. And I picked it up and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, this probably is similar, right? So I did read this one. And it's similar in the way of being like kind of academic, like older, kind of like proper lady and gentleman and stuff. So like old English kind of like traditions and culture, I guess you would say. But it has a touch of magic in a sense, with where there's birds and like these different species of birds have different like magical powers and stuff. Like there's a frost bird and there's like this one that like can do like sonic booms and all this other stuff. And basically, what is her name? Beth. She is an ornithologist. I loved saying that word so much, but she is an ornithologist. She is traveling with a companion of this older lady who wrote a book about the birds and stuff, and is one of the well-known ornithologists and stuff. And they deal with this other guy and his mentor who like stole their bird and findings and stuff. And then there's a contest that comes out where they have to find this one bird. It's like a calicis, something like that, right? Dun 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 dun. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was calidris. Can't remember the bird's name. These names for some of these birds were like crazy. Like there's something like lapwing bird that I don't know. But the name of some of these birds was crazy and difficult. But there's this bird, it's like well renowned and stuff. And there's this contest where they're like, hey, whoever catches it first will not only become the birder of the year, but if they're a teacher, they will also get tenure. And Beth, she's a professor, one of the youngest professors, I think, at Cambridge or something. And she wants tenure because she's pretty sure that's the only way she's going to get it as a female teacher in this field. So she wants it. Then there's another guy named Devin who also wants it. He's a professor at a different university, I think, and stuff. And somehow they get put together even though they're like sworn enemies. So it's like enemies to lovers kind of thing. And yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a little more difficult to read, and some of the stuff was weird and silly, but it was a good read. I like the birds and the magic for that, and I like the different adventures with these birds that they had, even if it was kind of staged. Spoiler slightly. But it was pretty good and stuff. I don't know. There is a second book. I don't know how I feel if I want to read that one though next. So that is that. So overall, I read how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 books, right? I think so. It's 7 or 8. I think it's 7 because then I read LiQWYD this month, and that would have been 8. But I read 7 books. They were pretty good, pretty decent. Like I said, had some stuff going on. Had my daughter's birthday party recently, so I didn't read for that day. I don't think. No, I read later that day. But I didn't read a couple of days because I was getting stuff prepared for that day. But yes, so I will, like I said, have this video out hopefully soon. And like I said, if you're interested in the Billy Summers by Stephen King video, like I said, it'll either be out before this video or after this video. So if you want to see that one, make sure you like and subscribe. If you just want to keep up to date on what I'm reading, what I'm doing, and all that, also make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.